Welcome, I'll be reacting to Star Trek The Animated Series, Season 1, Episode 2. This is not a market substitute. Support the original on Paramount+. Engage.
Our mission is to assist a team of historians in the investigation of
gateway.
Federation history. What's the matter? Bones? Who's he, Jim?
What?
What do you mean, who's he? You know Mr. Spock. Afraid I don't, Jim.
Oh no, it's timelines shenanigans.
But the first officer of this ship will be treated with respect.
Captain, I assure you no one has ever treated me otherwise.
Who are you?
Well, I thought sure you'd know Thalen by now, Jim. He's been your first officer for 5 years.
What?
There is no Vulcan named Spock serving with the Starfleet in any capacity.
Maybe he stayed with the Vulcan Science Academy and never joined Starfleet in this timeline. What was the reason given in TOS? It's been a while since I watched it. This is fascinating.
What of Sarek's family, his wife and son?
The couple separated after the death of their son.
Oh, wow.
What was his name and age when he died?
Spock, age 7.
I think Michael came in when Spock was a little bit older, so they wouldn't have adopted her yet when this scenario took place. I like to keep all the Star Trek timelines in a somewhat organized fashion in my head, so I assume Spock was killed, they never adopted Michael, who knows where she ended up, and now we're left with this situation.
We were scanning recent Vulcan history.
What time period?
20 to 30 Vulcan years past.
The date was...
The 20th day of Tasmin.
How do you know this?
That was the day my cousin saved my life in the desert when I was attacked by a wild animal. He was visiting us, but I never saw him after that.
Spock, did Selleck look
Like you.
like you do now?
Uh-huh.
I believe
yeah.
so, Captain. And I know
You
what
went
you're
back in
thinking.
time. Mm-hmm.
It was I who saved myself that other time.
But this time, you were in Orion's past with us when the historians had the time vortex replay of Vulcan history. You couldn't be in 2 places at once, so you died as a boy.
I will need a Vulcan desert soft suit and boots and a small selection of streetwear. The month of Tasmin.
He has this tiny little bag. He asked for an entire outfit plus several assorted street clothes. Now, unless that's a bag of holding, there's no way it's all fitting in there. They needed to animate him a bigger bag, like a duffel bag.
You could never be a true Vulcan. Your father brought shame to Vulcan. He married a human.
I regret you are witness to that unfortunate display of emotion on the part of my son.
It was the Vulcan kids who were bullying him, who were being emotional. In all these flashback scenes that they give to the Vulcan children being horrible to Spock.
He's a traitor, you know. Your father, for marrying her.
I never understood that. I mean, most of the time you bully someone because you want a sense of power, and that's an emotional reason. So wouldn't Vulcan children not bully? Or is it just because they haven't had enough training to control their own emotions? I don't know. Just a thought.
You constantly display your emotions. You have even been seen fighting in the street.
Yes, Father.
The time draws near when you will have to decide whether you will follow Vulcan or human philosophy.
The boy goes through the Kazwan ordeal soon, does he not?
Next month.
But tomorrow is the 20th day of Tasmin.
He's gonna go off on his own.
I do not expect you to fail.
What if I do, Father?
There is no need to ask that question. You will not disappoint me. Not if your heart and spirit are Vulcan.
Yeesh. Poor kid. Yeah, here he goes.
Chaya!
Something unexpected has again occurred.
The hour is late. I trust your errand is urgent.
Most urgent, Healer.
I have heard of a tendency toward what humans call practical jokes.
I did that once, 2 years ago. Healer, I would not call you out unless a life was in danger.
You will not disappoint Sarek in your Kazwan.
I wanted only to help Ichaya.
By understanding every life comes to an end. when time demands it.
Yeah.
Loss of life is to be mourned, but only if the life was wasted. Ichaya's was not.
But he will be in pain, or I can release him from life. I will need your decision.
Release him.
My home is yours if you pass this way again.
I think I shall not.
Enterprise, this is the captain. 2 to beam up.
2 to beam up, aye, sir.
Maybe you shouldn't be playing around with the gateway. I was not expecting the Guardian of Forever in episode 2. Wow. That was a bit of a shock. It does demonstrate that even if you're super careful when you go back in time, it's just not a good idea. And hopefully they'll end their experiments with the gateway and just say, okay, let's just walk away and only use this for specific situations. It was interesting seeing a little bit more backstory of Spock's childhood, growing up on Vulcan like that. We've seen flashbacks on various Star Trek related media, and then obviously Discovery had a lot of flashbacks to young Spock. I think it's really interesting how he was able to integrate his human side and Vulcan side mostly into a very Vulcan persona, but in this episode, getting to see him make that final decision was interesting, because having clarity on that probably really helped him as a kid. When you're being pulled several different directions, it's just not good. I don't know if the Guardian knew going in that it would be a problem. I'm not sure why there wasn't a warning about that. Maybe this was something that Spock needed to do to keep the timeline intact. Those paradoxes of if you save yourself and you don't save yourself, then you're not here to save yourself. Ugh, time travel. So maybe the Guardian deliberately let the timeline get messed up to say, hey, Spock, you need to go back in time and save yourself. Now. It was also an intriguing choice by the animated series to concentrate on a single character for almost the entire episode. I hope we get a few more of these. It'd be great to have one of Uhura, for example, getting to know her in a more in-depth way. So far, these have been great, and I'm really looking forward to where the animated series goes from here.